All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, Jim.
Ms. Conlon,
Present.
Ms. Crapo,
Here.
Ms. Marvel,
Here.
Bennett,
Here.
Schweitzer, Ms. Patterson,
Here.
Ms. Helm.
Here.
All right, very good. We have a quorum. Thank you. Additions or revisions to the agenda. Does anybody have anything?
Mr. Mayor, if I can just point out, the agenda that was circulated last night has a change in it. John has requested after you take care of old business, or at some point before too late here, that you take physical observation, break to physically observe a couple of things at the museum, and then we scheduled a Zoom call with the designers, which may not be as convenient as possible because it's going to be on my iPad. But I've sent you all an invitation, both by email for Outlook. So if you have a handheld, you can pull it up also.
Okay. All right. Okay, then we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the October meeting.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. That's our approved. Old business, 5.1, update on convention center.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so we are reporting on the month of October. So October, we had 11 events, which accounted for 16 total event days. Total attendance for the month was about 1,000 people. Gross revenue was 75,000 and parking revenue generated was about 6,500. Some of that parking revenue was some of our monthly parkers that like our work one building that needed additional parking spaces that they went ahead and purchased in advance. Next page is a list of October events. Just a few to highlight. Herman Buddy White retirement party. He had a really nice turnout, probably about 250 people for his retirement. We did a lot of food stations for them. We had a group come in called Permabase that it was a 3-day training, had a local company or a company out of Clinton that sent their employees here. They were here for 3 days, breakfast, lunch. They were here till 5 o'clock every day doing on-site training and speaking with their trainers. When they came in to move in, they felt like they were in luxury. They kept saying that our building was bougie. So they're not used to being in such nice facilities. And so they really enjoyed being here. And we like taking care of them. Bougie.
Bougie.
Spell that. So they had a really great experience. So it was nice to get folks from, outside coming here and really getting a taste of Terre Haute and, being able to meet in a really nice facility. We also had the Eugene B. Debs Foundation Awards Dinner, which was their largest event that they've had in years. And so that was really nice. And we had a Cheatham Celebration of Life that Garmong helped take care of as well. Next 2 pages just show you stats, monthly stats, events by type, gross revenue by event type, and then our year-to-date stats. So you can kind of see where we are, what months we've had the most attendance, most events, what types of events have kind of led the charge this year. So just kind of at a glance, snapshot of all of that. Looking at food and beverage generated from revenue this past month was about almost 49,000. Bill, our director of food and beverage, one of his initiatives has really been to cross-train a lot of his kitchen staff. So we've got some prep cooks and then we have some dishwashers. And so we've really been trying to make sure that all of our teams, know how to do a lot of jobs. So that way, if somebody is out sick, we don't have to rely on someone else. We've got someone who can just jump right in. So we've got 2 ladies in the dish room that he's been training on being prep cooks, and they've really come a long way. And like we did have an employee that was hospitalized for a week. And so those ladies came right in. They knew how to start doing prep, get salads ready for large events and everything. So it's really, been a godsend to have Bill here and be able to get the kitchen running the way that he feels it should be and have those backups in place for him. So it's been really nice. We've had some new part-time banquet staff, and recently we've had a couple more that have just come on for holiday work. And then we've had some capital purchases that we purchased some more linens last month or in October. We had to replace a lot of our black linens and our white linens. We can wash them so many times, but the stains start to get a little too much where we have to throw those out. We've been donating all of our old linens and rags to the ASPCA. And then we'll probably have to purchase some more probably in another few months. And then we'll have more items that we need for food and beverage that were purchased this month. That'll be on the next month's reports. In operations, we did an upgrade to our towel dispensers and the family restrooms, what we started with. The restrooms have the towel dispensers in there are just kind of the free towels where you just pull them out. Sometimes a whole big clump of towels would come out. So we bought inserts that go in there. So it's a different towel that we buy, but now they just come out one by one and there's no waste. So over time it should pay for itself. And then we'll have a lot of savings in there and we won't have a lot of waste. So we've gone through and we've replaced all of the, or we've put these inserts in all of the paper towel dispensers rather than replacing anything. It's just an insert that goes inside. We went through and did a lot of carpet spot cleaning. We'll probably be getting quotes at the beginning of the year to get some more commercialized cleaning done to the ballroom carpet. We've had a lot of events, a lot of banquets, a lot of weddings, things like that, that I think probably come January, there's going to be some areas that want to have someone maybe come through and do a little bit of steam cleaning on the floors too. We added some additional shelving back of house for storage. Garmon came in and adjusted some of the white upper paneling. So these wavy walls that go through the second floor up here, there were a couple of them that were kind of popping off. So Garmon came in and they actually looked at every panel and went through and readjusted all of them to make sure that they were all on there securely. NRK started the electrical upgrade on October 9th. Garmon did the floor cutting and the concrete work and then the drywall. And NRK started in the ballroom and then back of house, and then they've been working their way through the pre-function. So they're still in the building. I think they probably have maybe another week left and then they'll be completely done. They did find a concern in one of the electrical panels in the back. There was a wire that they that was what they would consider on top of a sharp edge. So they corrected that panel. They actually moved some of the panel in the wiring. So we kind of it affected the power in the office. So we shut down the building, you know, one morning and had everyone come in late so that they could do the work. They didn't charge anything extra for that, but they just thought it was a safety thing that they wanted to make sure they took care of. So we appreciate that. Parking garage storage was organized and some shelves were put together in there. So October was a month where it wasn't hot. It was still cool in there. So they were able to get in there and kind of reorganize. We did have some damage to our front doors one evening. We had a gentleman that was with some friends walking by, slightly intoxicated, kind of shoved our doors open and got upset and kicked them. And so knocked them off the tracks. It ended in him being taken away by a couple of our sheriff's deputies that happened to be working that night. And so we have submitted the bill from the damage to city court so that could be filed for restitution. And then we went through, did monthly fire and elevator inspections. On the sales front, last month sales contracted 14 events totaling $51,000. 10 events were for 2023 and then 4 events for 24. A lot of these were holiday party pop-ups. You know, we've had a lot of folks that have waited, you know, to get their holiday parties in. And so that's what a lot of that business is. Our team's currently working on 44 tentative leads for future business, which is over $300,000 in revenue, and then 655 hotel room nights. And then we've got 21 contracts that are out right now, which is over $130,000 in revenue and another 150 hotel room nights. The next page just goes through some of the site tours that we've had with potential clients, some of our community involvement and promotions that we're running. The big thing right now that we are running is our New Year's Eve event that's coming up. It's a Great Gatsby theme. Our ticket sales are a little ahead of where we were this time last year. So we feel good about that. And now it's just trying to get all the pre-planning done and really trying to push those sales. Yes.
And what did you ask people for sponsorship?
How much did I ask you?
You,
NRG. I don't think no. Pam may have, I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, you had in here, that, well, you asked, new on disability, do you know, you vote decline.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they asked. That would have been either probably Pam or I think it was for Sarah.
Table, I think it was a table,
Okay,
1,000
probably still on the table.
or plus.
Next page just really shows kind of some of the social media posts and our website activity. And then going to the back, definite events through the end of the year. We still have 17 events to complete through the end of the year, which is about $129,000. We've got 3 contracts out and we still have 11 proposals that are out. And then looking at 2024, we've got 21 contracts out, or sorry, we've got 21 contracts for definite business, and then we've got 18 contracts out, and then 32 proposals still, and then we've got some for 2025 that we're working on. So our total funnel right now from last week forward is 716,000 that is in the funnel. And then I did a look back to see just for this past year, what we've done from the beginning of the year to current. We've had 1,739 rooms associated with business here in the hotel rooms. So, which a lot of that would have been rooms that wouldn't have been here without, convention center, because those are groups that are holding business here that we're tracking. Any questions?
Buddy?
The interior looked very nice for Christmas.
We started doing Christmas decorations yesterday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tennille.
Mhm.
Right, update on budget and cash flow. We got stuff here for Jason. Anybody have any comments or questions on the finances? Hearing none.
How are we looking?
How are we looking? I think we're looking really well. The only item that, we can have them, they projected 2024. And, obviously the plan was to have the museum completed in January. So some of those museum costs will be spread out, through March. But as Jason mentioned in his email, we're operating, food and beverage is revenue from it is 7% ahead of last year's revenue through November. And I spoke with county, those funds will be, we'll receive those here yet this month, so in November, which you can see on the projections here. Those typically hit in July.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay. Larry Bird Museum update.
It's been an active past 30 days down there. A lot of stuff coming together, as I told you last month, that the next 30 days would be very busy inside there. Did get a list of the completed interviews for the interactive meetings that are going to go down there. They've got 6 out of 11 interviews already finished. Interviews that they don't have yet, but they do have not a firm date, but a date on Bird and Magic Johnson. Both of those interviews will take place sometime in January. Kevin McHale, Clint Buckner, and Bill Walton have all been scheduled and rescheduled. Actually, Walton is scheduled 12/21. So. There are some issues that I want to bring up to the board, and that is the reason for my requesting everyone to move down to the museum so we can take a look at it.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to see the floor. It's covered, just to protect it, but the floor looks great.
Yeah, really good.
Really happy with the floor. But yeah, just so it's not damaged, because we do have some lifts zooming around down there.
Okay. Then I guess we'll follow up on that shortly. Any other questions or thoughts at this point on that one? Okay. Update on the Indiana Theater. Chris is not here today. I thought he was gonna give us an update. There really isn't much to update, but he's been working on some things. I'll let him report on that. I guess we'll do that next month now. Nothing major to report, but working on getting the front door fixed that was broken into, then the place got broken into recently. Rob Lundstrom responded pretty quickly and they caught the guy. Didn't do any damage or anything. He said, prying the door open. So, and we've got some contractors looking at some things. We've got a plug drain that I mentioned last month that I think has been fixed, but I don't know if that's happened quite yet or not, but it was basically maintenance of the building at this point and making sure it continues to be secure. Chris has reached out to a couple folks that were involved prior, Greg and Brian and those guys. So I just don't have any other update for you today, and we'll let Chris do that at the next meeting. All right, legal matters.
Well, be brief so you can run downstairs. We continue to help coordinate the change order process between the designers and the constructors, which may seem like not a big deal, but it seems to be quite foreign to both. But we're getting there. We were directed yesterday by John to proceed with engaging an appraiser for the memorabilia. We've been sitting on that, waiting for approval from the owners of memorabilia, which we have not received, but we're at the point now where the restorers can't touch it unless it's insured. The insurance can't be obtained until it's appraised. So I was directed to reach out to Leila, Leila. She was one of two responders to the outreach that we did. She's clearly the expert in the country. If you look her up, you'll see Will Chamberlain's estate. Everybody's living deceased memorabilia. So she knows what the program is there. John chose the lesser of the two options, which was not to give a historical background on each and every piece and confirm it, which was in the $15,000 to $20,000 range, but to do still a full appraisal is a $10,000 option, and that will require Shelley to give some background, and I sent an email around on that yesterday, and also additional pictures, on all sides of a ring, not just a picture of the ring. Want to know if the jersey was worn in a finals game, or where it was won, that kind of thing. So Shelley has most of that info. We'll be able to drill down on it. We worked on the revenue benchmark, the resolution, and second amendment to OBG's agreement with Terry and Sunil. Well, we'll reserve discussion on that, so you have time to go down. We filed a couple of, once we got the right to use the name Larry Bird Museum, we had to do a couple of filings which were accomplished this last month, one with the Indiana Secretary of State to license that name, which the CIB now holds the license of that name with the Secretary of State. And then also, if you're using a name that isn't the name of your organization, you need to file an assumed business name with the county, which is also filed. And I gave copies of that to Jim just for the county's records, and then we got it. Only other item of major importance is your alcoholic beverage permit renewal. That's been filed. We received the property tax clearance from the county for that. The application's been submitted to the ATC. There'll be a local hearing in January, which Doug Kowalski of our firm will hire, former hearing officer for ATC. And then there'll be a final approval by the ATC after the January hearing. We don't know the date on that yet, but we'll let y'all know. Someone will need to be there. Should all be perfunctory because there's been no violations in your last year of operation. So that's the size of it. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, if not, then we'll take our trip downstairs.
Mr. President, could I ask, could you go ahead and do the consideration of the resolution? Most I told you, yeah, I got it cut
Okay.
out.
You guys mind if we just go ahead and take care of new business at this point? Okay, all right, we'll do that. New business, consideration of CIB resolution 2023-09, operating revenue benchmark and approving amendment. Terry?
Yes, this was discussed last month, per our contract, with our operating company. We have to establish a benchmark. Before we could establish that benchmark, we really needed to determine, it's based off of, gross revenue, less food and beverage. So we have, kind of what we used was an average of 2022, since we weren't fully operational in 22, just 9 months. And then so far through 2023. And so, again, the equation is already spelled out in the agreement. It was just lacking a benchmark number. So based off of Tennille's recommendation, the finance committee reviewed it, using not necessarily a weighted average, but using an average. It will be, the resolution states in there, you can read, where every 3 years, we will, recalculate that amount. But the benchmark will stay the same based off of the average of the previous 2 to 3 years.
I have one comment there. On the resolution and the attached agreement that you have, I had suggested the change from weighted average, which says something different to me, to adjusted average, which just means the 9 month goes to, you take that out, multiply it by 9/12, and it gives a whole year. I missed 2 changes in changing that. It still says weighted in 2 places. On exhibit A in the bottom paragraph, and in the amendment, the bottom paragraph of 2. So you don't need to amend anything. Let's just call it adjusted in there, Scrivener's error, and I will be sure that Karen receives later today the corrected exhibit for signature.
Okay, any questions or discussion on that?
You know, Terry, at some point I talked to Tennille about when the parameters were made, this place was supposed to have had a seating capacity of 1,000, and there were some things that changed. Did you figure those in as you were going through
That really didn't.
to what she's created?
No, that didn't really come into play necessarily, as when you set the benchmark, it's really as the convention center takes on more business, then what it is, there's 2 incentives with the operating agreement. One is a financial incentive, and the other is, this is the financial incentive that we're calculating. The other one, the qualitative incentive, which is capped at 25,000 annually. So that one did not require any type of benchmark. But for this one, the benchmark is just simply growth over a 3-year period. So we'll look at it, and they are incentivized, obviously, with gross revenue. So again, as more business comes in, there wasn't really any adjustment based off of the size of the convention center that's taken into account.
Okay. Yeah, the 2
Benchmark is just lower.
Yeah, the 2 that I wondered about is one, the decreased size of the facility, and then not the hotel rooms that we had planned on yet.
So there is an incentive though, as just based from these 2 years, we now have this benchmark, and you know what, 2024, 25, and 26, then what those gross revenues come in.
Yeah.
There is an incentive though for you know, we put a lot of weight on Tennille, but I only hear great things of the entire staff.
Yeah.
And so as those, you know, Terre Haute's a small town, so word of mouth travels, and when people rebook, she's going to see that financial incentive grow.
Okay,
I think-
great.
Oh, I will. Can I make a
Motion,
motion?
you may.
A second.
Okay, we have first and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Very good. Thank you. Okay. We will go downstairs now.
I'm gonna stay up here and start this